Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. We're continuing our reading of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are in the Madhya Lila, chapter 18, believe it or not. The Lord's visit to Sri Vrindavan. And even though I've been taking a lackadaisical approach to the whole thing, somehow or other, we're making progress. Page by page, word by word. We're up to text number 129, is it? 28? 28. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained for some days in Akura Tirtha. He delivered everyone there simply by distributing the holy name of Krishna and ecstatic love for the Lord. The Brahmin disciple of Madhavendra Puri went from house to house in Mathura and inspired other Brahmanas to invite Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to their homes. Thus all the respectable people of Mathura, headed by the Brahmanas, came to Balabhadra Bhattacharya and extended invitations to the Lord. In one day, 10 to 20 invitations were received, but Balabhadra Bhattacharya would accept only one of them. Since not everyone got an opportunity to offer invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally, those who did not requested the Sanadiya Brahmin to ask the Lord to accept their invitations. The Brahmanas from different places, such as Kanyakubja and South India, who were all strict followers of the Vedic religion, offered invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great humility. In the morning they would come to Akura Tirtha and cook food. After offering it to the Shalagram Shila, they offered it to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport: there are Brahmanas known as Panchagoda Brahmanas who come from 5 places in northern India, and there are Brahmanas known as Pancha Dakshinatya Brahmanas who come from 5 places in southern India. In northern India, the places are Kanyakubja, Saraswata, Gauda, Matila, and Udkal. In southern India, the places are Andhra, Karnataka, Gujarat, Dravida, and Maharashtra. The Brahmanas from these places are considered to be very strict followers of the Vedic principles, and they are accepted as pure Brahmanas. They strictly observe Vedic principles and are not polluted by tantric misdeeds. All of these Brahmanas respectfully invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for lunch. One day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat at the bathing ghat of Akura Tirtha and thought the following thoughts. Akura Tirtha is located on the road between Vrindavan and Mathura. When Krishna and Balaram were being taken to Mathura by Akura, the Lord rested at this place and took his bath in the Jamuna. When Krishna and Balaram took their baths, Akura saw the entire world of Vaikuntha within the water. The inhabitants of Vrindavan also saw the Vaikuntha planets within the water. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, at this bathing place, Akura saw Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, and all the inhabitants of Vraja saw Goloka Vrindavan. While considering how Akura remained within the water, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately jumped in and stayed underwater for some time. When Krishna saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was drowning, he cried and shouted very loudly. Balabhadra Bhattacharya immediately came and pulled the Lord out. After this, Balabhadra Bhattacharya took one Sonadiya Brahmana to a secluded place and consulted with him. Balabhadra Bhattacharya said, since I was present today, it was possible for me to pull the Lord up. But if he starts to drown at Vrindavan, who will help him? Now, There is a crowd of people here, and these invitations are causing much disturbance. In addition, the Lord is always ecstatic and emotional. I do not find the situation here very good. It would be good if we could get Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu out of Vrindavan. That is my final conclusion. The Sanodiya Brahmana said, "Let us take him to Prayag and go along the banks of the Ganges. It will be very pleasurable to go that way." After going to the holy place named Soro Kshetra and bathing in the Ganges, let us take Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that way and go. It is now the beginning of the month of Magh. If we go to Prayag at this time, we shall have an opportunity to bathe for a few days during Makara Sankranti. Purport: bathing during the month of Magh at the Magh Mela still takes place. This is a very old Mela, dating from time immemorial. It is said that ever since the Lord, in the form of Mohini, took a bucket of nectar and kept it at Prayag, holy men have gathered there every year and observed the Magh Mela. Every 12th year there is Kumbh Mela, a great festival, and all the holy men from all over India assemble there. The Brahmana wanted to take advantage of the Magh Mela and bathe there. Bathing at the confluence of the Ganges and Jamuna, near the fort at Allahabad, Prayag, is mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Quote, if one goes to Prayag and bathes at the confluence of the Ganges and Jamuna in the month of Magh, he attains the result of giving hundreds and thousands of cows in charity. Simply by bathing there for 3 days, he attains the results of pious activity. Because of this, the Sanodiya Brahmana was very eager to go to Prayag and bathe. Generally, karmis, fruit of laborers, take advantage of bathing there during the month of Magh, thinking that they will be rewarded in the future. Those who are situated in devotional service do not very strictly follow the karma kandiya process. The way Prabhupada puts things. They don't very strictly follow the process. In other words, we're not interested in it at all. The Sanodiya Brahmin continued, kindly submit to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the unhappiness you are feeling within yourself. Then propose that we all go to Prayag on the full moon day of the month of Magh. Tell the Lord of the happiness you will feel in traveling via the banks of the Ganges. Balabhadra Bhattacharya therefore submitted this prayer to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Balabhadra Bhattacharya told the Lord, I can no longer tolerate the disturbance of the crowd. People are coming one after another to offer invitations. Early in the morning people come here and not seeing you present, they simply tax my brain. I will be very happy if we all leave and take the path by the bank of the Ganges. Then we can have the opportunity of bathing in the Ganges at Prayag during Makara Sankranti. There are 2 great occasions for bathing in the Ganges during Magh Mela. One is on the day of the dark moon, and the other is on the day of the full moon during the month of Magh. My mind has become very much agitated, and I cannot bear this anxiety. Now everything rests on the permission of your Lordship. I will accept whatever you want to do. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had no desire to leave Vrindavan, he began to speak sweet words just to fulfill the desire of his devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have brought me here to show me Vrindavan. I am very much indebted to you, and I shall not be able to repay this debt. Whatever you desire, I must do. Wherever you take me, I shall go. The next morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up early. After taking his bath, he became ecstatic with love, knowing that he now had to leave Vrindavan. Although the Lord did not exhibit any external symptoms, his mind was filled with ecstatic love. At that time, Balabhadra Bhattacharya said, let us go to Mahavan, Gokul. Saying this, Balabhadra Bhattacharya made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sit aboard a boat. After they crossed the river, he took the Lord with him. Both Rajaput Krishnadas and the Sanodiya Brahmana knew the path along the Ganges very well. While walking, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding that the others were fatigued, took them all beneath a tree and sat down. There were many cows grazing near that tree, and the Lord was very pleased to see them. Suddenly a cowherd boy blew on his flute, and immediately the Lord was struck with ecstatic love. Filled with ecstatic love, the Lord fell to the ground unconscious. He foamed at the mouth, and his breathing stopped. While the Lord was unconscious, 10 cavalry soldiers belonging to the Muslim Patana military order rode up and dismounted. Seeing the Lord unconscious, the soldiers thought this sannyasi must have possessed a large quantity of gold. These 4 rogues here must have taken away that sannyasi's riches after killing him and making him take poison, by making him take the poison Dutura. Thinking this, the Patan soldiers arrested the 4 persons and decided to kill them. Because of this, the 2 Bengalis began to tremble. The 4 persons were Balabhadra Bhattacharya, his assistant Brahmin, Rajaput Krishnadas, and the Sanidhi Brahmin, devotee of Madhavendra Puri. The devotee Krishnadas, who belonged to the Rajaput race, was very fearless. The Sanidhi Brahmin was also fearless, and he spoke very bravely. The Brahmin said, "You Patan soldiers are all under the protection of your king. Let us go to your commander and get his decision. This sannyasi is my spiritual master, and I am from Mathura. I am a Brahmana, and I know many people who are in the service of the Muslim king. This sannyasi sometimes falls unconscious due to the influence of a disease. Please sit down here, and you will see that he will very soon regain consciousness and his normal condition. Sit down here for a while and keep us all under arrest. When the sannyasi regains his senses, you can question him. Then, if you like, you can kill us all." The Patana soldiers said, "You are all rogues. One of you belongs to the western lands, one to the district of Mathura, and the other 2, who are trembling, belong to Bengal." Rajaput Krishnadas said, "I have my home here, and I also have about 200 Turkish soldiers and about 100 cannons. If I call loudly, they will come immediately to kill you and plunder your horses and saddles. The Bengali pilgrims are not rogues. You are rogues, for you want to kill the pilgrims and plunder them." Upon hearing this challenge, the Patan soldiers became hesitant. Then suddenly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained consciousness. Coming to his senses, the Lord very loudly began chanting the holy name. Hare! Hare! The Lord raised his arms upward and began to dance in ecstatic love. When the Lord shouted very loudly in ecstatic love, it appeared to the Muslim soldiers that their hearts were struck by thunderbolts. Seized by fear, all the Patan soldiers immediately released the 4 persons. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not see his personal associates arrested. At that time, Balabhadra Bhattacharya went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and made him sit down. Seeing the Muslim soldiers, the Lord regained his normal senses. All the Muslim soldiers then came before the Lord, worshipped his lotus feet, and said, "Here are 4 rogues. These rogues have made you take Dutura. Having made you mad, they have taken all your possessions." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "These are not rogues, they are my associates. Being a sannyasi beggar, I do not possess anything. Due to epilepsy, I sometimes fall unconscious. Out of their mercy, these 4 men maintain me." Among the Muslims was a grave person who was wearing a black dress. People called him a saintly person. The heart of that saintly person softened upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to talk to him and establish impersonal Brahman on the basis of his own scripture, the Quran. When that person tried to establish the impersonal Brahman conception of the Absolute Truth on the basis of the Quran, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refuted his argument. Whatever arguments he put forward, the Lord refuted them all. Finally, the person became stunned and could not speak. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "The Quran certainly establishes impersonalism, but at the end it refutes that impersonalism and establishes the personal God. The Quran accepts the fact that ultimately there is only one God. He is full of opulence and his bodily complexion is blackish." Purport: the revealed scriptures of the Muslims is the Quran. There is one Muslim sampradaya known as the Sufis. The Sufis accept impersonalism, believing in the oneness of the living entity with the absolute truth. Their supreme slogan is Analahak. The Sufi sampradaya was certainly derived from Shankaracharya's impersonalists. According to the Quran, the Lord has a supreme, blissful, transcendental body. He is the absolute truth, the all-pervading, omniscient, eternal being. He is the origin of everything. Creation, maintenance, and dissolution come from Him. He is the original shelter of all gross and subtle cosmic manifestations. The Lord is the supreme truth, worshipable by everyone. He is the cause of all causes. By engaging in His devotional service, the living entity is relieved from material existence. No conditioned soul can get out of material bondage without serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Love at His lotus feet is the ultimate goal of life. Purport. According to the Muslim scriptures, without ibadat, offering prayers at a mosque or elsewhere 5 times daily, namaz, one cannot be successful in life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out that the revealed scriptures of the Muslims, in the revealed scriptures of the Muslims, love of Godhead is the ultimate goal. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are certainly described in the Quran, but ultimately the Quran states that the ultimate goal is the offering of prayers to the Supreme Person, Ibadat. The happiness of liberation, whereby one merges into the Lord's existence, cannot even be compared to a fragment of the transcendental bliss obtained by service unto the Lord's lotus feet. In the Quran there are descriptions of fruit of activity, speculative knowledge, mystic power, and union with the Supreme. But ultimately all this is refuted and the Lord's personal feature established along with His devotional service. The scholars of the Quran are not very advanced in knowledge. Although there are many methods prescribed, they do not know that the ultimate conclusion should be considered the most powerful. Seeing your own Quran and deliberating over what is written there, what is your conclusion? The saintly Muslim replied, all that you have said is true. This has certainly been written in the Quran, but our scholars can neither understand nor accept it. Usually they describe the Lord's impersonal aspect, but they hardly know that the Lord's personal feature is worshipable. They are undoubtedly lacking this knowledge. Purport, the saintly Muslim admitted that those who were supposedly conversant in the teachings of the Quran could not ultimately understand the essence of the Quran. Because of this, they accepted only the Lord's impersonal feature. Generally, they recite and explain this portion only. Although the transcendental body of the Lord is worshipable, most of them are unaware of this. Since you are that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, please be merciful upon me. I am fallen and unfit. I have studied the Muslim scriptures very extensively, but from it I cannot conclusively decide what the ultimate goal of life is or how I can approach it. Now that I have seen you, my tongue is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. The false prestige I felt from being a learned scholar is now gone. Saying this, the saintly Muslim fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and requested him to speak of life's ultimate goal and the process by which it could be obtained. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please get up. You have chanted the holy name of Krishna. Therefore, the sinful reactions you have accrued from many millions of lives are now gone. You are now pure. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told all the Muslims there, chant the holy name of Krishna, chant the holy name of Krishna. As they all began to chant, they were overwhelmed by ecstatic love. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly initiated the saintly Muslims by advising In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly initiated the saintly Muslim by advising him to chant the holy name of Krishna. The Muslim's name was changed to Ramdas. Another Pathan Muslim present there was named Vajuli Khan. Purport, after being initiated, the devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement change their names. Whenever a person in the Western world becomes interested in this Krishna consciousness movement, he is initiated by this process. In India, we are falsely accused of converting mlechas and yavanas to the Hindu religion. In India, there are many Mayavadi sannyasis known as Jagat Guru, although they have hardly visited the whole world. Some are not even sufficiently educated, yet they make accusations against our movement and accuse us of destroying the principles of the Hindu religion by accepting Muslims and Yavanas as Vaishnavas. Such people are simply envious. We are not spoiling the Hindu system of religion, but are simply following the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by traveling all over the world and accepting those who are interested in understanding Krishna as Krishnadas or Ramdas. By the process of bona fide initiation, their names are changed. Vijuli Khan was very young, and he was the son of the king. All the other Muslims or Patanas headed by Ramdas were his servants. Vijuli Khan also fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord placed his foot on his head. After bestowing his mercy upon them in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left. All those Patan Muslims then became mendicants. Later, these very Patans became celebrated as the Patan Vaishnavas. They toured all over the country and chanted the glorious activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vijuli Khan became a greatly advanced devotee, and his importance was celebrated at every holy place of pilgrimage. In this way, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes. Coming to the western part of India, he bestowed good fortune upon the Yavanas and Mlechas. Purport. The word Yavana means meat eater. Anyone from a meat-eating community is called Yavana. One who does not strictly observe the Vedic regulative principles is called Mlecha. Those words do not refer to any particular man. Even if a person is born in a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra family, he is a Mlecha or Yavana if he does not strictly follow the regulative principles or if he eats meat. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next went to a holy place of pilgrimage called Soro Kshetra. He took his bath in the Ganges there and started for Prayag on the path along the banks of the Ganges. At Soro Kshetra, the Lord requested the Sanodiya Brahmana and Rajput Krishnadas to return home, but with folded hands they began to speak as follows. They prayed, "Let us go to Prayag with you. If we do not go, when shall we again get the association of your lotus feet? This country is mainly occupied by Muslims. At any place, someone can create a disturbance. And although your companion Balabhadra Bhattacharya is a learned scholar, he does not know how to speak the local language." Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted their proposal by smiling mildly. Thus, those two persons continued to accompany him. Whoever got to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would feel himself overwhelmed with ecstatic love and would begin to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Whoever met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became a Vaishnav, and whoever met that Vaishnav also became a Vaishnav. In this way, all the towns and villages became Vaishnav, one after another. Just as the Lord inundated South India on his tour there, he also inundated the western part of the country with love of Godhead. Purport. According to some opinions, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Kurukshetra while going to Prayag from Vrindavan. There is a temple of Bhadrakali in Kurukshetra, and near that temple there is a temple containing the deity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally arrived at Prayag, and for 10 successive days bathed in the confluence of the rivers Jamuna and Ganges during the festival of Makara Sankranti, Magh Mela. Actually, the word Triveni indicates the confluence of 3 rivers, namely Ganges, Jamuna, and Saraswati. Presently, the Saraswati River is not visible, but the river Ganges and the river Jamuna merge at Allahabad. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visit to Vrindavan and his activities there are unlimited. Even Lord Shesha, who has thousands of hoods, cannot reach the end of his activities. What ordinary living being can describe the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I have only indicated the general direction in the form of a summary. The pastimes and methods of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are uncommon. Unfortunate is he who cannot believe even after hearing all these things. From beginning to end, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are uncommon. Just hear them with faith and accept them as true and correct. Whoever argues about this is a great fool. He intentionally and personally brings a thunderbolt down upon his head. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are an ocean of nectar. Even a drop of this ocean can inundate the whole world with transcendental bliss. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 18th chapter, describing the Lord's visit to Sri Vrindavan. And his conversion of the Muslim soldiers on the way to Prayag. Balo, balo, bravo, danya, danya, sadhu, sadhu, jai, jai. Hari, hari. Balo, balo. Wow, what a ride, huh? Jeez. Nobody's better than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ever. Okay, what do you got? Reflections, questions. Yeah, we got something way in the back in the Brahman effulgence.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
There is one reflection. It's from Nikunjanagari Mataji. She's saying, Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev and the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances, all gurus to Srila Prabhupada. I am appreciating hearing this Shastra read by you each day to guide us through the powerful waves in the ocean of science. The glorious sound vibration is such a gift. I am grateful to be here. First here is H-E-R-E and second here is H-E-A-R. Your servant Nikunjanagari Devidasi.
Hari Hari. Wow, what a nice note.
And she also likes the point you mentioned before. Do what Srila Prabhupada did. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, yeah. Don't try to be more Catholic than the Pope. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, Kanagopal.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I just have a reflection and addition to this conversation between Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Muslim soldiers. There's this really amazing book that was given to me by a devotee. It's a small book called The Hidden Treasure of Al-Quran by Airavata Prabhu. And he discusses these points brought up by Mahaprabhu in this section of Chaitanya Charitamrita and provides the actual evidence from the Quran that shows these personal features of the Lord. So it's really fascinating. If anybody is interested, it's called The Hidden Treasure of Al-Quran by Airavata Prabhu or Dr. Akif Manaf Jabir. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. A must-have for the reference library. Good idea. Thank you. Mukaravind.
Maharaj, I was just the actual the prose is so sweet. Also, the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes the Bengali prose is really like it's such a poetry. Each one, if you read, is it's really high class, or at least so satisfying when we read it. I was just wondering that what was the actual language that because there is a one verse came where it said that because of your servant they don't know the local language. So I was just wondering what language like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to communicate to his servants, and even when he went to South India, how he was communicating with the people there, like what was the language that he was speaking. I don't know if you have any.
Sanskrit. Yeah, I heard Prabhupada just the other morning was talking about how the main language of India used to be Sanskrit, and he said that he was disgusted. He said then they changed it to Hindi as the national language. He said they should have kept it as Sanskrit. As far as languages go, and I don't know the answer exactly right off the top of my head for that. It'd be interesting to do some research. I can ask a godbrother who just wrote a book about Lord Chaitanya, and in his research he told me he read 100 books about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from historical perspectives. But there is a room conversation where Prabhupada was talking about the most important languages, and he said it was English, because it was for preaching in the world. The most influential places in the world were English speaking, and in order to spread Krishna consciousness, and of course all of India speaks English too. So Prabhupada, there was a person who was part of the movement, and he was, at least I'm trying to remember exactly the context, but he was advocating for the importance of getting Sanskrit back as the medium, and Prabhupada had given the opinion in that conversation that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was more interested in English because it was the preaching language to spread Krishna consciousness. We'll do some research. Okay, Ekachakrapran, and then...
In the endnotes of the Anchilila, Prabhupada mentions that he completed the translations and the commentary in about 18 months. And I was thinking that we're reading it in about 18 days. So just the fact that Prabhupada was in such a flow that he was able to complete this huge work in such a short time. And then it was published in the marathon in just a matter of months as well, 2 months. And it made me realize that when you have a good flow and a good team, you can really accomplish incredible things in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, and if you don't sleep, it helps a lot too. Yeah, it's a really good point. Yeah, Balabhachandra.
I was thinking about how sometimes it seems so easy. All they need to do is just hear the name, and they become a guru capable of saving the whole world. And then other people try so hard to invite the Lord to lunch, and he doesn't accept their invitation. And I was just thinking about how we're always inviting the Lord to feasts, and how sincere are we when we invite him? Will he accept our invitations?
You mean because we're making offerings to the deity? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, when we offer our food to the deities, are we doing it with the sincerity that he's going to accept?
And appreciating how so many other people didn't get the opportunity?
Right.
Nice. Thank you. Balabhachandra. Okay, it looks all quiet. Nirkula's got something.
Just a side note, our god sister Vrindavan Vilasini, she's lived in Vrindavan for decades, and when I saw her last, maybe a year or two ago, she had just gotten her Indian citizenship, and one of the requirements is that you have to know how to speak Hindi, which she doesn't really speak fluently, but she spoke Sanskrit to them from Prabhupada's books, and that's how she got her citizenship.
We'll give it to you for the shlokas, right? Another good reason to memorize shlokas. I was once on an airplane ride from San Francisco to Hawaii. On my way en route, that was a stopover on the way to India. And they had a talent show on the plane. And so they asked anybody who had a talent, they could come up and they could do their thing. And a few people volunteered, went up there. There was a comedian, and then there was a break dancer. Some guy did a magic trick. I was brahmachari. I got up and chanted the Brahma Samhita on the plane, and I won. They gave me 2 tickets to the botanical gardens in Hawaii. So it always pays to learn verses. Okay, let's get started on chapter 19, shall we?
Yes.
Since talking about flow, it is really important to get in a flow. Not get one's practice in such a flow that you're always absorbed, one way or another. I liked your point. And Prabhupada was in that flow. He got the whole movement in the flow. He had thousands, tens of thousands of people all over the world in the same flow, going. Of course, I would try to idealize and say they were all going in the same direction. But everyone had that sense of urgency and flow, and it was all coming from Prabhupada. So having that in our lives is nectarian. When we're distracted and we don't have the flow, it feels frustrating. So best to find your flow. Sounds like a title of a new lecture. I think I already did that one though. A summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravabha Bhashya, and the title, by the way, is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Srila Rupa Goswami. Haribol. Meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a village called Ramakeli, 2 brothers, Rupa and Sanatan, began to devise means to get out of their government service. They appointed some brahmanas to perform Purashcharana ceremonies and chant the holy name of Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami deposited 10,000 gold coins with a grocer, and the balance he brought in 2 boats to a place called Bakla Chandradweep. There he divided this money among the Brahmanas, Vaishnavas and his relatives, and a portion he kept for emergency measures and personal needs. He was informed that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to Vrindavan from Jagannath Puri through the forests of Madhya Pradesh. Therefore he sent 2 people to Jagannath Puri to find out when the Lord would leave for Vrindavan. In this way Rupa Goswami retired, but Sanatana Goswami told the Nawab that he was sick and could not attend to his work. Giving this excuse, he sat at home and studied Srimad Bhagavatam with learned Brahmin scholars. The Nawab Hussain Shah first sent his personal physician to see what the real facts were. When he personally came to see why Sanatan was not attending to official business, knowing that he wanted to resign his post, the Nawab had him arrested and imprisoned. The Nawab then went off to attack Orissa. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started for Vrindavan through the forest of Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Rupa Goswami left home and sent news to Sanatan that he was leaving with his younger brother Anupam Malik to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Rupa Goswami finally reached Prayag and met with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 10 consecutive days. During this time, Vallabha Bhatta extended an invitation to the Lord with great respect. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced Srila Rupa Goswami to Vallabha Bhatta. After this, a Brahmana scholar named Raghupati Upadhyaya arrived and discussed Krishna consciousness with the Lord. Kaviraj Goswami then extensively describes the living condition of Sri Rupa and Sanatan at Vrindavan. During the 10 days at Prayag, Srila Rupa Goswami was instructed by the Lord, who gave him the basic principles of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The Lord then sent Srila Rupa Goswami to Vrindavan. The Lord himself returned to Varanasi and stayed at the home of Chandrasekhar. Before the creation of this cosmic manifestation, the Lord enlightened the heart of Lord Brahma with the details of the creation and manifested the Vedic knowledge. In exactly the same way, the Lord, being anxious to revive the Vrindavan pastimes of Lord Krishna, impregnated the heart of Rupa Goswami with spiritual potency. By this potency, Srila Rupa Goswami could revive the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan, activities almost lost to memory. In this way, he spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. After meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the village of Ramakeli, the brothers Rupa and Sanatan returned to their homes. The two brothers devised a means whereby they could give up their material activities. For this purpose, they appointed two brahmanas and paid them a large amount of money. The brahmanas performed religious ceremonies and chanted the holy name of Krishna so that the two brothers might attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very soon. A Purashcharana is a ritualistic ceremony performed under the guidance of an expert spiritual master or a brahmana. It is performed for the fulfillment of certain desires. One rises early in the morning, chants the Hare Krishna mantra, performs archan by the artik ceremony, and worships the deities. These activities are described in Madhya Lila, 15th chapter, verse 108. At this time, Sri Rupa Goswami returned home, taking with him large quantities of riches loaded in boats. Srila Rupa Goswami divided the wealth that he brought back home. He gave 50% in charity to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas and 25% to his relatives. This is a practical example of how one should divide his money and retire from household life. 50% of one's money should be distributed to qualified and pure devotees of the Lord. 25% may be given to family members, and 25% may be kept for personal use in case of emergency. He kept 1/4 of his wealth with a respectable brahmana. He kept this for his personal safety because he was expecting some legal complications. He deposited 10,000 coins, which were later spent by Sri Sanatan Goswami in the custody of a local Bengali grocer. Sri Rupa Goswami heard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had returned to Jagannath Puri and was preparing to go to Vrindavan through the forest. Sri Rupa Goswami sent two people to Jagannath Puri to find out when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would depart for Vrindavan. Sri Rupa Goswami told the two men, "You are to return quickly and let me know when he will depart. Then I shall make the proper arrangements." When Sanatana Goswami was in Gaudadesh, he was thinking, "The Nawab is very pleased with me. I certainly have an obligation. If the Nawab somehow or other becomes angry with me, I shall be greatly relieved. That is my conclusion." On the pretext of bad health, Sanatana Goswami remained home. Thus he gave up government service and did not go to the royal court. The greedy masters of his clerical and secretarial staff performed the government duties, while Sanatana personally remained home and discussed the revealed scriptures. Sanatana Goswami was the minister in charge of the government secretariat, and his assistants, the undersecretaries and clerks, all belonged to the Kayasta community. Formerly, the Kayastas belonged to the clerical and secretarial staff of the government, and later, if one served in such a post, he was called a Kayasta. Eventually, if a person could not identify himself as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, he used to introduce himself as a Kayasta to get a wealthy and honorable position. In Bengal it is said that if one cannot give the identity of his caste, he calls himself a Kayasta. On the whole, the Kayasta community is a mixture of all castes, and it especially includes those engaged in clerical or secretarial work. Materially, such people are always busy occupying responsible government posts. When Sanatana Goswami was relaxing and feeling inclined to retire from government service, many Kayastas on his secretarial staff were very eager to occupy his post. In this regard, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that when Sanatana Goswami was a government minister and the Kayastas who assisted him saw that he was reluctant to continue, they became very expert in their duties. Sanatana Goswami was a Brahmana belonging to the Saraswata Brahmana community. It is said that when he resigned, a subordinate named Purandara Khan, who was a Kayasta, occupied his post. As I was just thinking that we should have a section in WhatsApp for unresolved philosophical points or whatever. Because a lot of them, you bring them up and then I'll say, yeah, we'll take care of it later, and then unless it's filed somewhere and we can go back to it, it's going to be hard to remember all of them. So could we have a place to park some of those? Add a group? What are you going to call it? Huh? Homework. What, nectar? But it's like for research, right? Okay. Well, I'm very happy to report we not only met our reading goal today, not only surpassed it, but we smashed it. Hare Krishna. Somehow or other, seems improbable, practically impossible, but one way or another we snuck past it, and we're in good shape. We're down to the wire though. We've calculated carefully because 14th is morning. The emergency session won't be there because we have initiation, and on the 13th morning, which is in day after tomorrow, I have to go to Vrindavan to give class and go to the ICC meeting, be back for the afternoon reading. That's all calculated in, right? Lucky we got UC Berkeley people on this. Okay, any last points? They better be good. Okay, go ahead, Patish Pavana.
I was contemplating Sanatana Goswami's etiquette that
calling in sick.
Yeah, the Nawab Hussain Shah, he was happy with him, and therefore he didn't want to resign when their relationship was in a good state. But he called in sick, and then the Nawab became angry with him, and then he resigned, or he escaped and left. But he waited until he was first angry with him, rather than causing a disturbance in their relationship in that way.
Yeah, it's good. Bukaravan and Yogadish.
Manoj, 2.1 point, I like that there is a mention of Sesa Sai, and I remember Prabhupada says about that famous pastime of Sesa Sai. So I was happy to see the reference. I never went that place, but I'm just looking in this.
Sheshachai's reference is that Prabhupada joined his spiritual master for a yatra. It was a 10-day yatra in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada was so busy with his life he could only join for one day. But he made the trip all the way there to join, and when his spiritual master was speaking, it was the last day that people could go to see Sheshachai. And they had the choice. They could either stay and hear Srila Bhaktisiddhanta speak, or they could go see the last day Sheshashai before it wasn't possible. And many of them went to see Sheshashai, but a few stayed back, and Prabhupada was one of them. And later on, when Prabhupada got initiated in Allahabad, his spiritual master said, I marked him. He likes to hear and he does not go away. His Prabhupada stayed to hear rather than goes. And he also, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said during that lecture, he said, they've gone to see Sheshashaya, but what will they see with their eyes? He said, we see by hearing. Okay?
And Maharaj, just one more point that when he was describing, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was describing when the Gopal deity gave darshan to Rup Goswami, and he was mentioning all the names of associates like who were there. He didn't mention his name, and in the commentary that then we find that he was also there. So he purposefully didn't mention. I can see that he's humiliated, that some author would have told, I was also with that list of the people who were there to see the Gopal.
Nice catch. Very good. Dear Srila, yes, Mahendra? Oh, Yogidesh, I cut you off. Sorry, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Just a quick point I thought of after what Patita Pavan Prabhu said. It's interesting, you can see the contrast between the Nawab and Sanatana Goswami, the relationship they had, and how Sanatana Goswami had to go about trying to pursue his goal as Krishna consciousness versus King Pratapa Rudra and Ramananda Rai, how he was much more, he encouraged and supported Ramananda Rai in pursuing his goal of serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was an interesting contrast I saw, and it shows how important it is to have an authority figure who is supportive and encouraging of and aligned with one's goal.
Yeah, if you can get Prataparudra as your employer, that'd be ideal. You could have the rest of your life off, and your pension will be full pay.
I just wanted to add on the point of these devotees going, Rupa Goswami, and 20 plus listed there, and staying in for 1 month in one place and having darshan every day with Gopal. Whenever I read it, I just try to imagine what they were doing, together, because they were all scattered in Vrindavan. Bhurgarba Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, they were in different places. They met occasionally, but at this time they were all together. And I thought, what kind of katha and energy they would have, and to long to be in such an association.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, Mahendra Prabhu. We'll let that be the last point for the day. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Sri Gauranitai, if you so desire, please let us hear through the Akashic record what all the Goswamis spoke about when they gathered together for their Ishtagoshtis. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Actually, just as a side comment, it's whatever we're reading now coming out to us in the perfect form is what they discussed. Exactly what we could understand and digest. Everyone agrees with this prayer, minus the footnote. Please say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribo. Vanchakoplarishya kripasinameva japatitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha natikoti vaishnaviniki jai. And now we have the ceremonial moving of the chairs. We're going to open this room up because we're going to sing the Damodar Ashtakam, and we have a process for all the devotees to offer a lamp all at the same time that we're going to enact in this room. And so let's move the chairs and we can come together for the Damodarashtakam. Everybody's welcome to come in. We fit as many as 1,000 devotees in this room previously. You might want to turn that fan down a little bit. Namam Vishwaram Sachid Anandarupam Rasat Kundalanga Kuleva Jamala Yashoda Bilaluka Ladamana Padam Rishamachanta Dojita Govya Rudantam Mohuneta Navidata Mbota Yumena Kanka Kanta Stita Jaiva Damodara Dam Iti Triksaliravi Ananda Kunde Sagoshami Majanta Akyapayantam Yeshita Geshu Bhakte Jitatva Puna Prema Tastansa Kaviti Vande Balabalam Sadame Manasta Titam Kundalaistik Jarai Titam Bimbarakadarane Savirastamalam Vatsalabhai Saina Prabodukta Idinavatanu Vajabaja Vichaiva Yada Ayavokita Bhakti Vajapita Instakam Vitanasta Namo Shigrahamesti Namaste Sudam Nesu Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
That is in my heart.